A judge in the US has dismissed the manslaughter case against Hollywood actor Alec Baldwin involving a fatal shooting on a film set in 2021. The judge ruled that the state withheld a key piece of evidence related to the ammunition that killed the cinematographer Halyna Hutchins. The actor wept when the case was thrown out, meaning he cannot be tried again, but still faces civil lawsuits. Emma Vardy reports from Santa Fe in New Mexico.
Your motion to dismiss with prejudice is granted.
This was the moment Alec Baldwin was told his court ordeal had ended, hugging his legal team in pure relief. This case had been hanging over him for nearly 3 years.
How's it going, sir?
When a gun Alec Baldwin was rehearsing with fired a live round, it killed the cinematographer Halyna Hutchins.
Oh my God.
The film's armourer, Hannah Gutierrez, was later convicted for having mistakenly loaded a live bullet into the weapon. But prosecutors believed Alec Baldwin was also partly responsible for the way he handled the gun. But 3 days into his trial, new evidence emerged about a box of bullets that had been handed into police but hadn't been included in the evidence. The box, said to be from the film's ammunition supplier, contained a mix of live rounds and dummy bullets. The defence argued that it cast doubt on some of the events leading up to the shooting, and that the prosecution had suppressed evidence that should have been disclosed. The judge agreed.
This disclosure during the course of trial is so late that it undermines the defendant's preparation for trial. There is no way for the court to right this wrong.
Alec Baldwin is now a free man, and the collapse of this case is a disaster for the prosecution. He cannot be tried again, but there may have to be a retrial of the film's armourer, Hannah Gutierrez. Outside court, the lead prosecutor defended her actions.
We did everything humanly possible to bring justice to Halyna and to her family, and we're proud of the work that we did. Again, we disagree with the court's decision, but we have to respect it.
For Alec Baldwin, this case has already had enormous professional and personal consequences. He left court with a potential prison sentence averted, but the tragic accident forever on his conscience. Emma Vardy, BBC News, New Mexico.
Well, let's stick with this story and speak to Megan Cunniff, a legal affairs journalist based in Los Angeles. Megan, good to have you on the programme. We just want to get a little bit more information on this. First of all, just talk us through why you think that this evidence was so crucial and why the judge made this decision.
Well, it's always been a question of where did the live round that killed Hutchins come from? And that has never been pinpoint decided. So to have any kind of live rounds being introduced as evidence, suggested as evidence, it goes to the potential exculpatory evidence of the Brady law that this case was dismissed under. And it just shows the importance of disclosing everything to the defense. And as the defense attorney said today, it's not up to the prosecutors to decide what's potentially exculpatory, that the defense can make those decisions based on the disclosure of all the evidence.
So how can a piece of evidence like this, that seems central to the case that you, as you say, how can it not be disclosed?
Well, the prosecutor had explained that she just deemed it irrelevant. She didn't feel that it was, she felt that it was obviously on site, not related to the live rounds on the Rust movie set. So she didn't feel that it needed to be disclosed. This was a decision that she made. And the other prosecutor has made clear that she doesn't agree with that. The other prosecutor actually resigned in the middle of the day during the proceedings, which was really quite extraordinary.
It is. So Alec Baldwin, let's look forward. Alec Baldwin cannot be tried again, but he can face some civil lawsuits. What are those and how does that work?
Yes, there are wrongful death lawsuits that are proceeding. And of course, those lawsuits have really been on hold pending the outcome of these criminal proceedings. So we could see those really accelerate now and see some outcome. We don't have the same evidentiary rules in these civil cases that we do in criminal cases. So those are still going to proceed and we could see some liability here. But of course, the punishment in civil cases is is money, monetary damages, as opposed to prison time.
And then let's look at Halyna Hutchins. She faces trial. What could this mean for her trial?
Well, her attorney has said tonight that he'll be moving for her immediate release from prison, and he's wanting to look at potential discovery violations in her trial that could lead to a new trial.
And finally, you know, when you look at this again puts the US legal system in the spotlight, in the global spotlight. How do you think people are viewing the system at the moment?
It does. I know defense attorneys, criminal defense attorneys in the United States are really celebrating this decision because Brady material, as it's called for the Supreme Court decision that it's named after, Brady versus Maryland, complaints about that material being withheld, potential exculpatory evidence. That's the most common complaint from the criminal defense bar in the United States. And I think there's kind of a fear that judges and prosecutors just don't see the importance of that. So I think people see this decision today as sending a strong message about the importance of disclosing everything and not letting prosecutors decide what the defense can see as exculpatory or not.
Really interesting. Megan Cunniff, legal affairs journalist based in Los Angeles. Good to get your thoughts on that.